You're listening to EPN, the E-Podcast Network.
Welcome to Enterprise Radio, the signature show of EPN, the Entrepreneur Podcast Network, your channel for exclusive interviews with entrepreneurs, small business owners, and some of the world's top executives who share business strategies and insights that can all help you build your business, leading to your business success. And now, broadcasting from anywhere between Brazil, South America to Los Angeles, California, it is your host, Eric Dye.
This is Eric Dye, and once again, welcome to Enterprise Radio, a part of EPN, the Entrepreneur Podcast Network. Today, we are visiting with Mr. Jeff Forte, the author of The 90-Minute Marriage Miracle, who is an expert in marriage repair and has 25 years of conflict resolution experience. Mr. Forte, a pleasure to have you with us today on Enterprise Radio.
Eric, I'm really happy to be with you.
You bet, and certainly is our pleasure to have you with us. Thanks for taking out a moment. So for starters, to lay the foundation, tell us a little bit about your background.
I come at the relationship world from 15 years of executive management experience for a variety of Wall Street firms. Some of that experience including leadership roles and running and resolving conflicts with type A personalities and financial advisors. So those skills became extremely useful in my own marriage when I was struggling, and they're invaluable in the work that I do today.
So tell us from your experience, why do you think so many marriages fail today?
Well, the number one reason, in my opinion, is that most of us didn't have great role models for day-to-day joy, high levels of affection. My own dad left when I was 15, so I didn't have a great role model for the masculine role in the relationship. And so primarily, if we didn't see that modeled really well for us, we're going to struggle or we're going to figure it out. And I had to struggle before I figured it out.
I think that is a great point. Well stated. Now, what are the biggest mistakes that people make in these regards?
Well, the first thing that people do is that they tend to believe that communication is the challenge. In my opinion and experience, communication is simply a symptom of a deeper issue within the relationship itself. Communication conflicts increase when a couple feels disconnected from each other. And so the focus on communicating doesn't resolve the feeling of connectedness in the relationship. Those are behavioral issues that are required. And unfortunately, the traditional model of couples counseling results in about 2 million divorces a year. Something's wrong with that model. We have over 50,000 plus traditional couples counselors, but over 2 million divorces each year. And the other aspect of that, in that traditional couples counseling model, each partner is usually giving his and her version of events. And most people leave that situation feeling more bitter and resentful. I know I certainly did when I went through that many, many years ago. It's not unusual for couples to feel more separate when they leave couples counseling sessions. And that's a real problem.
And it certainly is. Today we are joined by Mr. Jeff Forte, the author of The 90-Minute Marriage Miracle, here on Enterprise Radio, a part of the Entrepreneur Podcast Network. Now, tell us, Mr. Forte, how can your business success mindset be beneficial within a marriage?
Well, to put it in very simple terms, when people think about their marriage, it's often a highlight in their lives. You know, women look forward to it, and yet there isn't a whole lot of thought about what do we do the day after to stay deeply connected, to keep our intimacy alive long term. There's no vision. And this lack of vision, which entrepreneurs and business people have at the core of their own success, a vision for what I want things to be like, to look like down the road. We have a vision for kids' education and retirement or buying a house or second home, but there's no vision for a relationship. And this is one of the real key element light bulb moments for me in my own relationship struggles, is when I realized, what is it that I want? And when I ask clients what it is that they want, usually I get what they don't want. They don't want to walk on eggshells. They don't want to feel misunderstood. They don't want to argue. They don't want to feel stressed out of their minds. But that's not a vision of what you want to feel like and what you want your life to be like. So lack of a vision is a key problem. And certainly business entrepreneurs and successful folks realize that. The other aspect of is in a business, you need to initiate, or your business is going to suffer. If you want to grow your business, that requires effort. If you want to turn your marriage around or increase the levels of intimacy or feelings of being understood, you got to exert some effort. If the marriage is on the edge of failure, you got to exert even more effort, just like a business. And then the last thing really is the outcome clarity, right? So this is the goal. How is it that you want to feel when you're with each other? Before I come home from work and walking through the door of my home, I have an outcome in my mind about how I want to feel with my wife. So that's always top of mind. Those are the entrepreneurial skills that help create relationship success.
And quite interesting as well. I like that. Now, what is your rising love marriage repair process?
Well, I realize that part of the challenges within a couple are that most of us typically make easy little mistakes that tend to build and gather and stack one on top of each other. And so the first thing that I teach individuals and couples what to do is to tell them what not to do, point out the things that they're doing wrong that's actually contributing to the decline of the relationship. So once they stop that, the relationship tends to stabilize. The second thing is to teach people how to create feelings of connection. Because if somebody doesn't feel connected with their partner, you can't resolve anything. If I'm not feeling connected with my wife, I'm not even going to want to talk to her about a whole lot. There are couples that argue for days and days trying to fix their relationship by communicating, but they cannot because the feelings of connection have left the relationship. These are truly important factors in relationship success. And then the last thing is to resolve the real issues that exist in the relationship. For example, I might be a saver, my wife might be a spender. That's always going to cause conflicts. I might believe that children need discipline. My wife might believe that they need to be free spirits. That's always going to cause conflicts. My ideas about what a marriage should look like versus my wife's might be very different. So issues of alignment, issues of connection, the cause of the disconnect are the real issues in the relationship. It's very, very rarely communication. So those are the three steps.
Mr. Forte, certainly has been great to have had you. You made some great points that we can certainly, I think, apply ASAP. In conclusion, any closing thoughts, takeaways, or a final tip in conclusion?
Sure. Anybody who's listening today, they can get a free copy of my book simply by referencing this interview and sending me an email to jeff@peakresultscoaching.com, and you get a free copy of the 90-minute marriage miracle.
And that is certainly quite an offer. We thank you for that. And also, where can listeners get more information about the 90-minute marriage miracle as well?
They can go right to the website, the number 90minutemarriagemiracle.com, and there's plenty of articles and free tips.
Again, Mr. Forte, it has been our pleasure to have had you, and thanks for spending a moment with us here today on Enterprise Radio.
Eric, I thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And you're more than welcome. We've been speaking with Mr. Jeff Forte, the author of the 90-Minute Marriage Miracle, who is an expert in marriage repair and has 25 years of conflict resolution experience. And to pick up a free copy of this book by referencing this interview, simply email Mr. Forte at jeff@peakresultscoaching.com. And also for more information on the book, it's 90minutemarriagemiracle.com. And this is Eric Dye, and you've been listening to Enterprise Radio, a part of EPN, the Entrepreneur Podcast Network. Pick up our iPhone or Android mobile app for your exclusive mobile listening convenience. And once again, we do thank you for tuning in.
Thanks again for listening to Enterprise Radio here on the Entrepreneur Podcast Network. To subscribe for future programming, simply visit epodcastnetwork.com.
This is the ePodcast Network.